Jeffrey Lloyd Zaslow was an American author, journalist, and columnist. Zaslow was born in 1958 in Romal, Pennsylvania, and studied at Marpole Newton High School, where, during his high school years, he wrote for the school newspaper. After graduating from Carnegie Mellon University in 1918, he began his professional career as a writer for the Orlando Sentinel. Zaslow married Sherry Margolis and became the father of 3 girls. Zaslow had a career filled with so many collaborations and is widely known as the author of best-selling books. He has also been the sole author of numerous books. Zaslow achieved a recognition as the author of an advice column called All That Z, and he was twice named to the National Society of Newspaper Columnists as the best daily columnist with more than 100,000 circulations, and he received the Distinguished Column Writing Award from the New York Newspaper Publishers Association. Zaslow also received the Will Rogers Humanitarian Award. On February 10, 2012, Zaslow died following a car accident while on tour for his book The Magic Room. Former Sully co-author Chesley Sullenberger was among those who eulogized Zaslow at his funeral. It is January 15, 2009. The domestic fly 1549 has just taken off from LaGuardia's airport when after only 6 minutes it collided with a flock of wild geese that damaged both engines of the Airbus A320. Aboard the plane, there are 150 passengers and 5 crew members. Captain Chesley Sullenberger, nicknamed Sully, the co-pilot Jeff Skiles, and the 3 flight attendants, Sheila, Donna, and Doreen. Following the impact, the commander decided to make an emergency ditching on the Hudson River, a short distance from Times Square. Immediately, the images of the subsequent rescue go around the world. In the book, Sully wants to retrace the milestones of his life, from his first flights to his ditching on the Hudson River, from his years as an Air Force pilot to his transition to civil aviation. Sully recounts the experiences that enable him to maintain such lucidity in a time of full-blown chaos. Courage and determination in making the decision to make that emergency landing were paramount. A sense of duty, respect for others and himself, and precision were all traits that Sully has developed throughout his career and life. The movie and the book tell the same story. On one hand, we find the movie which has the characteristic of being more summarizing, and on the other hand, the book which is more comprehensive and more detailed. The very first fractions of the film see the main character Sully intent on dreaming. He's having a nightmare, just about a plane crash. A moment later, the commander can be seen getting ready to go and argue with the lawyers about the crash, together with the first officer. In contrast, the book initially focuses on something else entirely. Zaslow and Sully want to focus on the letter's past, his early flights, and his work as an US Air Force pilot. In the book, we read how Sully, in addition to his work as an airline commander, was called upon at times to investigate airplane accidents, and this detail is also taken up in the film, as the fact that he owned an aviation safety consulting firm, which is mentioned in both the film and the book. The film also chose to talk about the financial problems that Sully and his family faced. In fact, they are in danger of losing their home. Just before taking off from LaGuardia Airport, 2 of the flight attendants make a joke about the punctuality with whom departures from that airport are always late. This is an observation that is also present in the book. Not too many months ago, I found myself choosing a movie to spend a family night with. And among the choices offered by Netflix, there was the movie Sully. So I decided to put it on play. My family and I liked the movie so much that I decided to buy the book. Choosing to read the book after seeing the movie, from which it's based, I know it's a wrong choice, but sometimes reversing the order can prove to be a discovery. The book is definitely richer in information and details. The book and the movie are based on an event that actually happened. This detail, which is not insignificant, made me feel more drawn about the story, fueling my curiosity about it. The star of the film is one of the actors I consider among the best, Tom Hanks. The actor, as Commander Sully, proved to have exceptional skills. During a statement, Commander Sullenberger quotes the following words: "Sometimes we learn from the media about ordinary people who have faced exceptional situations. People who acted with courage and a sense of responsibility as a result of an impulse decision. I think many of these people had actually made the decision years before. At some point in their existence, they determined what kind of men and women they wanted to be, and then built their lives accordingly. They told themselves that they would no longer be more spectators. If called to act with courage and self-sacrifice, they would do so. The lives of 155 people were turned upside down after that accident. 155 survivors who found themselves facing a dramatic situation, feeling helpless. Their lives were in the hands of the commander and the first officer. 155 people who ran into the freezing January wind and the temperature that had reached 2 degrees. Some may have been on their way to work. Some may have boarded that plane to leave for their long-dreamed vacation. Some may have been on their way to visit relatives. All of them today find themselves with a story to tell that they will find hard to forget. In this story, the courage is the protagonist. Commander Sully's courage in making the decision to make an emergency landing in the waters of the Hudson, aware of the risks he would face. The courage of the first officer, Jeff Skies, who had to help the commander with the maneuver. The courage of the flight attendants, who in the chaos had to maintain enough lucidity to control the panic-stricken passengers, and who immediately took action in getting them to safety. The courage of the people who were on board, who went from being mere passengers to becoming survivors as well. At the end of the film, it was intentional to include a video where all the passengers of the flight 1549 were filmed, passengers saying out loud the number of the seat they were sitting on, and then gathering around the captain and the first officer as they were one big family. Then we hear Sully saying, "This is the captain," a phrase that will not be hard to forget, a phrase that said just moments before the Dutching sounded at times ominous, while now it brings a smile because fortunately everything went well. Sully's story has never happened before.